Hello, good evening. Here we are. We're in Saudi Arabia. This is the location where tomorrow we will be finding out who is the baddest man on the planet. And very shortly tonight, Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou are going to be climbing onto the stage behind me, onto the scales and going head to head for the very last time before they meet in the ring. This is the opening show of Riyadh season, and I promise it will be epic. Here we go then. Former UFC world champion Francis Ngannou believes that he can do what no other man has ever done and defeat Tyson Fury in a boxing ring tomorrow night. Fury, he just needs to get the job done and come through unscathed because Alexander Usyk has signed the contract for an undisputed fight with the Gypsy King that every boxing fan around the world has been waiting for. Well, meanwhile, it's going to be a fascinating main event on TNT Sports Box Office tomorrow night, 6 p.m. And it's got a heavyweight undercard as well. It features top 10 fighter Joseph Parker. We also have the rapidly up-and-coming Moses Itauma, who's been really impressive so far, and a chief support with a British heavyweight title at stake. It's Fabio Wardley and David Adeleye. They're going head-to-head as well. So for full details on exactly how you want to buy this event, plus all the T's and C's, just go to www.TNT Sports Box Office, or you can just scan that big QR code that you can see on the right of your screen there, and then everything will become very clear. Right, well, welcome to our lovely little studio. The stage is behind us, and I have fantastic company. I always do. Carl Frampton, lovely to see you. Dan Hardy, welcome. Welcome to the fold. And obviously Steve Bunce over there looking really smart as well.
Thank you.
Great to have you all in attendance. I know that you've been out here for a little while, enjoying what's been going on, these festivities. What do we think so far? Carl, you tell me what you've been doing.
I have never seen anything like it. Buncey's been in here a little bit longer than me. Me and Dan, I think we can arrive about the same time, but it's spectacular, really. Genuinely, the arena, the setup, the promotion, just everything about it. It's a monstrous, huge event.
Buncey's actually been here for what feels like a month because the content that you're churning out is impressive. I don't think he's slept. He's been speaking to everyone. There are a lot of stars in attendance as well, aren't there?
Well, the stars have arrived in the last 12 hours or so, and I calculate that there are 7 former world heavyweight champions here, including the giant, the king, Big George Foreman. And I'm not even, and Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, Lennox Lewis. It's an endless list of some of the greatest ones. Not just from my code, but let's give Dan some credit. His code, they've turned out in numbers. It's like the 7 greatest UFC fighters in history are gathered here today.
Yeah, we've got some real stars. It's amazing. I mean, it appeals to everybody, doesn't it? Yeah. You know, all these MMA fighters are coming out. We've seen Adesanya here, JDS, you know, Chuck Liddell's here, Randy Couture. I mean, it's incredible, isn't it? Frank Mir as well. I mean, everybody wants to be a part of this. It's a once-in-a-lifetime event, and none of these MMA fighters want to miss it, and it's the same for the boxing world as well.
Dan also is really professional, so it means that you two are going to have to up your game a little bit, not be lazy, don't sit back. It's got to be special tomorrow night. I want to know what you think about this. Obviously, we've seen crossover fights before. I don't know, Carl, there's something about this. I suppose it might just be how grand the event is and the fighters that are going to be in the ring tomorrow night. It feels a little bit on a different level.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, in terms of the event size and everything that's going on, it's definitely on a different level. It's bigger and better than anything I've ever seen, and I've been lucky enough to be around some big nights of boxing, so this is something different. Then you've got a guy from the MMA world coming over. A lot of people from the boxing world aren't giving him much hope of winning, but you know, there's a lot of what ifs. What if he lands that shot? What if?
Yeah. And what if, Buncey? What if Tyson Fury gets hurt? Because if you're in the Fury camp, surely sign the contract with Usyk. You know that's going to happen. Surely the biggest thing is just don't get hurt, whatever happens.
And we're told that Tyson Fury has a camp in Jeddah a few hours from here in preparation for that December 23rd fight with Usyk. So that's how prepared they are. And not just about getting cut or hurt. What if he just has a hard 8 or 9 or 10 rounds?
Yeah.
And we're going to pick up bruises, aches and pains. Then that fight's in jeopardy. That's assuming that. That's assuming he has a hard 8 rounds.
I had to do the legal things for a second there. Going to say nothing's been confirmed. We don't know if it's going to come through.
I appreciate that. Sorry, Laura.
No, it's fine. But in the world of boxing, as always, we don't know if it's going to be the 23rd of December. We've heard about people wanting to be on the undercard of that being in April. Who knows? What we do know is tomorrow night these two are going to get in that ring. And Dan, explain to me the difficulty of being really dominant in the world of mixed martial arts and then having to, I suppose, split your disciplines, just focus on boxing. If he is going to win, how does he do it?
Well, I mean, you know, there are certain things he brings to the table. Of course, the unforgivingness of his power is ridiculous. But at the same time, if he plays too much boxing, he's going to be playing into the hands of Tyson Fury. The unpredictability of his punches is going to be a big key. Wild swings from unusual angles is what's going to surprise Tyson Fury and maybe catch him by surprise.
You know what we need here from him? We need the ultimate fusion of boxer and MMA star, okay? And we haven't seen it yet. We've seen 1 or 2 MMA guys try a bit of boxing, and we've seen 1 or 2 boxers try a bit of MMA, and we've seen some have a bit of success, some have absolutely no success. But we need to see from Ngannou, for him to make any dent in Tyson Fury, we need to see a beautiful fusion. So he retains that ruggedness and that aggressiveness from his MMA, UFC days, but he doesn't leave himself an easy target for the big lad who, as he said, could smoke a pipe, drink 10 pints of lager and still beat him with one hand.
But he's been looking in great shape, Tyson, actually. He looks like he's shed a little bit of weight. He said he feels younger.
When you said he looked in great shape, I made this face. I thought you were talking about Francis, but Tyson, for Tyson looking in shape, he never really ever does look in shape, but in terms of his physique and what he's looking like now, it's probably as good as he's ever looked. So it shows you that he's prepared a lot for this fight. He's taken it very, very seriously, but he's also got one eye to the future in Usyk.
Well, that's it. In comparison to how we saw last time out, he does look like he's shaped up a little bit. And maybe that is it. Maybe he is looking to the future and thinking if the fight's going to happen really, really soon, I'm doubling up in my camp.
And also because this would be sort of week 3 or 4 of a 14-week camp, remember, or maybe even week 5. So he's in better shape than he would ever be in week 4 or 5. So let's assume we do go forward to a December fight. I understand the legal implications. Let's assume that. He's got to really monitor how he does it, because, as anyone will tell you, you need a break after a big fight and a big camp.
Okay, we're talking more about this in just a second, but as I said, it's obviously a massive hybrid event. We've got the best of the world of boxing, the best of the world of MMA, so we thought, actually, why don't we nick the best reporter from mixed martial arts as well? Caroline Pearce, the brilliant Caroline Pearce, is backstage to tell us a bit more about this event.
Thanks, Laura. Well, I just came over from UFC 294 in Abu Dhabi, where the whole MMA community are so excited for this fight. It's transcended boxing because we know firsthand, up close and personal, what Francis Ngannou can do with his hands. We've seen him knock out the man considered one of the best heavyweights in MMA in Stipe Miocic. We've seen him knock Alistair Overeem, another great, into another universe. So we know the power he possesses in his hands. And when I spoke to Francis earlier this week, he said, "This isn't a dream anymore, I'm living it, and I better be awake on Saturday night." He also told me there'd be no feeling out process. He's been watching Tyson Fury for years. He knows exactly what he can do. Of course, that's easier said than done against the linear champion in Tyson Fury, but that's why we're all here. It's boxing and anything can happen. But before that, I'm backstage here where the undercard fighters are getting ready to step onto the scales. So much to look forward to.
Wonderful, Caroline, thank you. Look at that. This is amazing. So you can see there the open air stadium, that's where we are now. That's for the undercard fights, all of them, and also the weigh-in that you will see shortly. And just to the left of your screen, that big box that big grey thing, that is the Kingdom Arena. I promise you, it's much more impressive inside. That is going to have an opening ceremony with a load of pretty cool artists, we've been told. Buncey's been keeping me up to date with those. And then also it's going to be where we'll stage the main event, and there's loads of little surprises, one that we can actually give away already. We've heard that the ring is actually going to come out of the ground, so do not expect any expense to be spared. Expect a great show, and make sure you come and join us for that tomorrow night. We're also going to be coming back in a few minutes' time, building up more to this event. We'll show you all of the weigh-ins which are going to happen behind us. We'll see you very, very shortly. Welcome back. This is the weigh-in show. We're here at the moment. This is the outdoor arena. Frank Bruno has turned up. All the stars are out. Israel Adesanya is out there. And just in a second's time, you're going to see, there he is, Ricky Hitman Hatton. He's come out. Joe Calzaghe. We've got eyes on so many more of these guys as well. This area that we're in at the moment, this is going to be staging all of the undercard fights tomorrow too. And if you think there's celebrities here tonight, it's going to double by tomorrow. Really excited to see it. Look how fabulous it looks. There's a big light show going on. Listen, we're going to get into the weigh-in just a second's time, but in terms of what we're going to see tomorrow night, it's not just about the main event. We just so happen to have a pretty stacked undercard as well. All heavyweight fights. Who are you looking forward to seeing?
All the undercard is very, very strong. I think Adelaide and Wardley is the pick. I think it's a very, very competitive fight. But a fight that's went really under the radar is Moses Atama. I think he's in his first real fight, and he's someone I'm very, very excited about.
I hope we're going to see it later as well. But Moses Atama, obviously he's very confident. He's got all of this amazing talent. And he saw Mike Tyson and was saying to him, I'm going to beat your record. You've got to have a lot of you know what I mean, to go and say that to his face as well.
Yeah, you do, absolutely. But Mike Tyson liked his confidence. You know, he's a boxer. He was a young boxer at one point. He can see that confidence and knows where it comes from. I'm excited to see what happens.
In fact, he corrected Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson said to him, you have to fight bums. And he went, no, Mike, I don't want to fight bums. Tyson was gobsmacked. Hey, the kid's 18. Give him his dues.
Why not? Why not? Other things that we're looking forward to in this whole thing as well. I know that you guys just mentioned David against Fabio Wardley. Now, David basically I know you're laughing already because they had a press conference about 7 weeks ago and it got a little bit spicy there, Bunsey, didn't it? Tell me what happened for those that didn't see it.
Well, Adelaide is a kid who wears his heart out on his sleeve.
Yeah.
And Wardley, when pressed, he wears his heart out on his sleeve. They both gave away with sense, and there was a scuffle, a giant scuffle. And he ended up cut in 2 places, Fabio Wardley. A little bit of plastic surgery on his chin and a cut on his eye. And Adelaide said, so what? That happens. This is feisty. It's genuine.
I think Adelaide even said something along the lines of his glasses got knocked off. We got wonky glasses or something like that. Look, we love a little bit of spice and we're ready to go into the weigh-in now already. So let's get into it. Start with the undercard. And talking you through our events is going to be our commentators in a second, which is Darren Fletcher and Richie Woodall. But first of all, we're going to go to the stage and hand over to our MC, Thomas Treiber.
Championship boxing to be held tomorrow in Riyadh, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. We would like to extend a big thank you to His Royal Highness, the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and His Excellency, Chairman of the General Entertainment Authority of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Turkey Al Sheikh. It is all being brought to you by Sella, Frank Warren on behalf of Queensberry, Bob Arum's Top Rank Incorporated, and Gimmick Promotions. This great event will be televised live in the UK on TNT Sports Box Office, in the United States on ESPN Plus pay-per-view, and around the world in other territories on DAZN. Well, ladies and gentlemen, at this time we are going to begin the weigh-in process. Our first fighters to the scale competing tomorrow in a scheduled 8-round international super welterweight contest. First to the scale, fighting out of Miami, Florida, USA. He brings a professional record consisting of 12 wins, 3 defeats. 9 of his 12 wins come by way of knockout. Let's welcome Robert Duran Jr.
So here is the son of the great Roberto Duran, Robert Duran, weighing in, and he's up against Jack McGann from Liverpool tonight.
For Robert Duran Jr.
So Robert Duran weighing in, 35 years of age, won 12 of his 15 fights, Richie, and you've just blown me away with the story you've just told me while we were waiting to see him on the scales.
Yes, I almost boxed his father, the great Roberto Duran, in the mid-90s. He was getting on a little bit then, and Mickey Duff come to me and says, would you like to fight Duran? And I said no, and basically, you know, if I would have got a win over him, because he was aging then, I'd have been hated by everyone, but to grace the ring with him would have been fantastic, but I refused it.
8 wins, 1 draw, 5 of his 8 wins come by way of knockout. Here is Jack the Pilgrim McGann.
So Liverpool's Jack McGann, who's going to be in with Robert Duran Jr. tonight. Unbeaten, 8 wins in 9. He's got a draw as well, 5 stoppages. And he's big and tall at this weight. It's super welterweight. He stands there at 6 feet 1.
153.10 for Jack McGann.
8-0, and yeah, he's doing okay, Jack McGann, and this is a massive stage for him, Fletch, and great experience for him, but he's late into professional boxing. He comes from the MMA side of it, and look at the height and reach he's got over Robert Duran, so that's what he'll be looking for there, height and reach.
Super welterweight contest.
So this is the first fight on the card tomorrow. You'll see the weigh-ins for 6 fights. Then there'll be a short break before we get the weigh-in for the main event when we see Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou on the stage here in Riyadh a little bit later on. But the weigh-ins are going to keep coming thick and fast. Next up, we're going to see Martin Bakole and Carlos Takam.
Scheduled 10-round international heavyweight contest. First to the scale, a native of the Democratic Republic of Congo, now making his home in Airdrie, Scotland. He brings a professional record consisting of 19 wins, just 1 defeat. 14 of his 19 wins come by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Martin Bakole.
And Martin Bakole, Richie, is a man who's desperate to get himself right in the thick of the heavyweight title picture, isn't he?
Absolutely, and he's a good performance here, but he's only been beaten once by Michael Hunter, the American, and he's just behind the main pack of heavyweights, isn't he? Your Tyson Furies, your Usyks, AJ's up there, Daniel Dubois up there. He's just behind these type of boxers, and if he can get a good win here, then who knows? It could open doors for him.
299.4 for Martin Bakole.
He's a big man, 299.4 pounds on the scales, Martin Bakole.
And now we will welcome to the scale a native of Cameroon, now fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, USA. He brings a professional record consisting of 40 wins, 7 defeats, 1 draw, 28 wins, coming by way of knockout. Introducing Carlos Takam.
So Carlos Takam in there at the age of 42, and he's the only man in the build-up to the Battle of the Baddest who's even suggested that Francis Ngannou can beat Tyson Fury tomorrow night.
Yes, I think he's done a bit of sparring with him, and he knows all about Francis Ngannou. But Takam, lots of experience. I mean, he's had the losses against AJ Chisora, Joe Joyce, but his experience, he's been 12 rounds with Josie Park, remember, so he's been about, knows the game inside out, and he's a tough, tough man.
$257.1 for Carlos Takam.
42 pounds in weight difference between the two, and there is an all-time great, the Eastern Assassin, the great Larry Holmes, who's here. It really is a who's who of world boxing, past and present here in Riyadh, and Larry Holmes, one of the headline people here. Fantastic to see him.
Tomorrow night in a scheduled 10-round.
Look at the height and reach Martin Bakole has got over Carlos Takam. That could be significant. Two big guys looking to really make a name for themselves on this stage here.
So Martin Bakole at 299 pounds, Carlos Takam 257. That's a very, very big man in there against Carlos Takam tomorrow night.
To the scale, competing tomorrow night in a scheduled 6-round international heavyweight contest. First, we will welcome to the scale, coming to us from Budapest, Hungary. He brings a professional record consisting of 10 wins, just 1 defeat. 8 of his 10 wins come by way of knockout. Here is Istvan Bernat,
who is the most difficult opponent that Moses Itauma has had to face to this point. Won 10 of 11, 8 stoppages. Going to be fascinating to see Itauma step up.
Nicknamed the Hungarian Hammer. So this fella, it's his first contest outside the USA. He's obviously based himself over in America now. But yeah, he's been in against some good opposition, and he's been an experienced international amateur boxer also. He's boxed in WSB, World Series Boxing, which is over 5 3-minute rounds. So he's experienced, and yeah, this is a step up for him, Itauma.
$257.1 for Istvan Bernat.
So 257.1 for Istvan Bernat. And there is Iron Mike Tyson, who's been training Francis Ngannou for the Battle of the Baddest. And he's still in fantastic shape, absolutely fantastic shape.
Stellar amateur career, and now at just 18 years of age, he is undefeated with 5 wins, 3 of his 5 wins come by way of knockout. Here is Moses Itauma.
So what a stage for this young man to be fighting on tomorrow night. A huge audience, and he's been very impressive in his first year as a professional, Richie.
Indeed, Southpaw, very, very skillful. Very talented indeed. Wants to become the youngest heavyweight champion in history. Obviously, Mike Tyson's got that. 20 years and 4 months, 22 days. And Moses Itauma.
236.1 for Moses.
He's doing very well indeed.
So 21 pounds between them. 236.1 for Moses Itauma. 257 for the man from Hungary, István Bernat.
Competing tomorrow night in a scheduled 6-round international heavyweight contest.
What's interesting also, Fletch, is Itauma, this is his 6th contest this year. Mike Tyson had 18 fights, 18 contests in his first 12 months as a professional, so he's got to get a move on. But yes, this fella here is talented indeed.
Our next 2 combatants to the scale competing tomorrow night in a scheduled 10-round contest. It will be for the NABF and vacant WBA Intercontinental Heavyweight Championships. We will first welcome to the scale, coming to us from Evanston, Illinois, USA. He brings a professional record consisting of 20 wins, 4 defeats, 1 draw, 17 of his 20 wins coming by way of knockout. Let's welcome Junior Anthony Hurricane Wright.
So Junior Anthony Wright from Chicago, Illinois is going to be fighting for the North American Boxing Federation heavyweight title tomorrow night. The vacant WBA Intercontinental title as well against Arslanbek Makhmudov, who's a Russian based in Montreal these days. And it's time to see Junior Anthony Wright step onto the scales here.
229.5 for Junior Anthony Wright.
Yeah, he's decent, isn't he? And 17 knockouts in those 20 victories that he's had. Been 12 rounds just the once, so a bit more experience he needs, but yeah, he's decent.
He's a former challenger as well for the WBA Cruiserweight title. And here's his opponent.
Montreal, Quebec, Canada. He is undefeated with 17 wins. 16 of his 17 wins come by way of knockout. He is the reigning and defending NABF heavyweight champion, Arslanbek, the Lion Makhmudov.
This fella can punch, Richie.
Yes, he's a handful, isn't he? 16 knockouts in those 17 victories. And I think he contacted Artur Beterbiev, or Beterbiev, as some people say. And he's settled now in Canada, so I think he's in the same gym as Beterbiev. And yes, he's an awesome prospect indeed.
He's a big man at 6 feet 5.5 as well, and he's only got Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua ahead of him in the WBC rankings. The title held, of course, by Tyson Fury.
260 pounds for Arslanbek Makhmudov.
And he's significantly the bigger man in there.
Yes, he is, and I say he's a prospect. He's 34 years of age, remember, but he's turned professional late. Look at the height and reach that he's got. Big, powerful man. This is going to be a cracking contest. It really is, because Junior Wright himself is a big puncher.
He's got a very angry face. A very, very angry face, Arslanbek Makhmudov.
I'd put you against him any day, Fletch.
Wow, I'd run a mile. It's a title, by the way, in the past that's been held by Muhammad Ali, George Foreman, more recently Vladimir Klitschko. The NABF heavyweight title on the line tomorrow night.
Interestingly as well, Fletch, Carlos Takam is the only man to take him the distance. So that's a bit of credit to Takam. But yeah, this fella, he's going to be hard to beat. 17-0, 16 knockouts. One to watch out for.
Where is Riyadh? It tends to get dark very quickly here. 1 minute it can be daylight, Richie, and the next minute it feels like somebody's turned the lights off.
Our next 2 combatants to the scale competing tomorrow night in a scheduled 10-round contest. It will be for the vacant IBF and vacant WBO Intercontinental Heavyweight Championships. First, we welcome to the scale, coming to us from Trois-Rivières, Quebec, Canada. He brings a professional record consisting of 23 wins, just 1 defeat, 22 of his 23 wins coming by way of knockout. Introducing the Grizzly, Simon Keane.
So here's Simon Keane, who at the level he's been fighting at, Richie, is a bit of a knockout artist, but this is a significant step up for him against the former heavyweight champion Joseph Parker.
Yeah, it is a massive step up, but he has got 11 wins inside 2 rounds, so he starts pretty quick, and he's also avenged the one loss that he had against Dylan Carmen. He lost by a KO in 4, but then he repeated the KO in a victory over 3 rounds.
255.1 for Simon Keane. And now we welcome to the scale, coming to us from South Auckland, New Zealand. He brings a professional record consisting of 32 wins, 3 defeats, 22 of his 32 wins coming by way of knockout. He is the former WBO World Champion. Lupesoli Ai, La'auli Ole, Mali Etoa, Joseph Parker.
So here is the very popular and always smiling Joseph Parker, who's a massive part of Tyson Fury's camp, and he still feels he can make an impact in the heavyweight division at the age of 31.
Still ranked in the top 10, isn't he? WBC's number 10, IBF number 6, and the WBO number 6. Being a world champion, he sports everyone and obviously spars Tyson Fury and trains with him.
.1 for Joseph Parker.
The 3 men to beat him: Anthony Joshua, Dillian White and Joe Joyce. Joseph Parker, and this is going to be a good one to watch tomorrow night. Simon Keane stepping up, he knocks everybody out, and Joseph Parker is the man with the pedigree and the experience in there.
Definite step up for Keane, but both can punch, so it's going to be exciting, this one, Fletch.
It's a very intense stare down up there between the pair of them. Looks relaxed, Joe, doesn't he?
He does indeed, but Keane, 22 knockouts from them 23 victories. That's impressive.
So time for the British heavyweight title weigh-in. Fabio Wardley and David Adeleye on the stage next, a fight that I think we're all very much looking forward to.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next 2 combatants to the scale compete tomorrow night in our chief support. It is scheduled for 12 rounds, and it will be for the British WBO European, WBA Continental, and vacant Commonwealth Heavyweight Championships. First, we will welcome to the scale, coming to us from London, England. He brings an undefeated record with 12 wins. 11 of his 12 wins come by way of knockout. He is the reigning and defending WBO European Heavyweight Champion, Big D, David Adeleye.
I mean, not to put too fine a point on it, Richie, this is the biggest night of both men's careers tomorrow, fighting for the British title in a fight that ordinarily might not be made. Both unbeaten, both knocking everybody out. This is fascinating.
Absolutely huge. The first time I've seen a heavyweight British title fight on away soil. And there's Big Dave Adeleye.
232 pounds for David Adeleye.
So 232 pounds, and don't forget the press conference was spicy. Be fascinated to see what the stare down's like, the face-to-face, the head-to-head, and here comes Fabio Wardley.
Which England, undefeated, he has 16 wins, 15 of his 16 wins coming by way of knockout. He is the reigning and defending British and WBA Continental Heavyweight Champion, Fabio Wardley.
So here comes Fabio Wardley, Rich, who's from a white-collar boxing background, isn't he? But he's made it all the way to a British title challenge.
He's the defending champion. KO'd his last 15 opponents, remember, Fletch. So, yes, he's a heavy hitter indeed. They both are, to be quite honest, and similar experience. So, yeah, this again, it's a very exciting fight. Bit of needle before the contest as well. So that's good to see in a lot of respects.
£241 for Fabio Wardley.
So Fabio Wardley slightly heavier. The rest of the metrics are all pretty level, aren't they? Wardley 6'5", Adelaide 6'4.5". There's not a great deal in it. Let's have a look at what they're like when they come face to face. There has been spikiness. There's been bad blood. Let's have a look.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this our chief support tomorrow night. 12 rounds scheduled for the British, WBO European, WBA Continental, and vacant Commonwealth Heavyweight Championships.
Dave Adelaide certainly looks pumped up, doesn't he? Wardley quite calm up there. But yeah, this is a close one to call. It is. I spoke to a lot of people. It really is a 50-50 bout this.
So Frank Warren in between the two of them. David Adelaide was the one who was doing the talking in there. Fabio Wardley was happy to respond and send him a little bit back. This one's going to be fascinating for various belts tomorrow, the main one being the British heavyweight title. And as Richie quite rightly says, the first time that it's ever been fought for outside the United Kingdom. Let's hear from David Adelaide then. He's ready to speak to Josh Denzel.
Going all the way to right now. Tell me, what was being said up there? Give it the PG version for the fans.
No, nothing really. You know, he came in heavy, so silly. You know, you already know his game plan. He's only got one sort of way of fighting, and that's walking forward. You know, it's easy, man. What's he going to do when you see someone that's stronger than him?
Do you know what? You carried yourself throughout this whole build-up with a level of extreme confidence. Where does that stem from?
Just within, you know, the man I am. And listen, man, I'm just a little guy from Ladbroke Grove, you know, West London, England, and I'm here, chief support in Saudi Arabia. I'm living the dream. You know, I'm just soaking up the atmosphere, man. I see some boxing greats here. You know, man, I used to watch these people when I was just at home with my parents. So, you know, to see me do my weighing and face-off is humbling.
Now, you said that you watched Fabio. Since he won that British title, you watched him close to the point where you even watch how he's eating his food. What have you seen this week?
Nothing, you know, I know they're doing certain things behind closed doors that show me that they're kind of nervous already. With me, it doesn't really do anything. You know, we're going to go in there tomorrow and have a tussle anyway, so it is what it is.
Bell goes Saturday night. Tell me, what happens?
I'm going to hit him on the button and he's going away.
There we go, short and simple, brother. Good luck.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please stand by. The weigh-in of our main event is coming up shortly.
Okay, there you go. So let's reflect on a few of those things that we saw there. And before we do, I've just heard that Josh is keeping himself very busy because Fabio Wardley is now beside him. Let's see what he has to say.
Delighted to be joined by Fabio. Fabio, listen, it's a little bit heated right now. It's a little bit heated. It's kind of been that way for the whole of the fight build-up. Now, both of you haven't been past 6 rounds. This isn't going long, is it?
No, I think the only thing me and Adelaide can agree on is that the fight's not going the distance. Not even the distance. It's not going that long.
You've been involved in some big shows. I've been there. Do you think that gives you a level of advantage that you've kind of been on that big stage and you've seen some greats in the audience already? You know, you've boxed under the lights. Does that give you a slight edge over David?
Yeah, I'm comfortable. I felt it. I know what it feels like when the moments get a bit testy or you're in a bit of an uncomfortable situation, or just when your opponent's of a decent caliber and you've got to work out a few different tricks that maybe you haven't had to go over before. So I've prepared all the way through. My career has brought me to moments like this, which I've done over before. So today's just going to be another one of those for me to tick off.
He said that you fight one way, one-dimensional. You said you're going to drag him into deep waters. What does that look like?
Look, it's going to look very uncomfortable for him on the night. That's what it's going to look like. If he's banking on me fighting one way, look, because I've got my opponents out of there, I've had to dig deep in a few fights and stick it on him. He doesn't know what that looks like because he's never fought anyone of any worth, of any caliber. So he's looking at me thinking, oh, that's all he can do. Cool. That works well for me.
What does it mean to have all these greats in the audience? You know, we've got Mike Tyson down there, Bivol, Roberto Duran. They're all going to watch you go to work on Saturday night.
Yeah, it is something special. It is something special. Like, I was seeing all the postings like on social media of all the guys that were coming, and I was speaking to His Excellency the other day at his house, and he was letting us know about all the people that he'd invited over, and it was just, it lets you know how much of a real special occasion Saturday's going to be.
No doubt, brother. Good luck.
Appreciate it.
I'll see you Saturday.
Thank you, man.
Fabio Wardley there just dropping the biggest name of them all, His Excellency. I was at his house, had a little catch-up with him. I didn't get the invite to that. Have you lot been there? Have you been to his house?
I haven't, no.
Sure?
No invite this way.
I feel better. No. We're not invited to the party tonight, are there?
No. No one is.
I'm trying to get in. I'm trying to get in.
Yeah.
Fletcher's
You've
plus
been
one, it's not
barred
working.
in advance, I heard.
I've what?
You're lucky to be
Been
here.
barred in advance.
I know all about you. I really enjoy parts of that, actually, especially those two. There's something I think that is a little bit special about this fight. I think the personalities of both of them are perfectly matched. Well, what about the actual talent between them? Who edges it for you, Carl?
It's a real hard one to call. I think Richie called it there and said it's a 50-50. There's a lot of people on both sides. You know, a lot of people picking Notley, a lot of people picking Wardley. For me, I just think that the Sokolowski fight just... and his Adelaide's performance in it, it leaves a few question marks for me. I think that Wardley has fought at a higher level than him. But then in others, they kind of flip it on its head. Wardley gasses a little bit in fights, so I don't really know. If I'm going to pick anyone, I would just say Wardley, just about.
But the talent, sorry, Lord. Look at the tail of the tape. One or two stats that aren't there, okay, is of their combined 26 fights that have finished inside the distance, 14 finished inside the first 2 rounds. They've never been beyond 6. And when they went beyond 6, or when they've been anywhere near 6, they've both been exhausted. Hand on heart, if you're going out, book it to go out by the end of the second round. If this goes into the third round, I'm a Dutchman. You can call me Jan all weekend.
You look like a Jan.
Thank you, Jan.
I'm going to be the MMA guy that disagrees with you guys. I think Adelaide is going to do it. I just, you know, the punch that he landed on base is against the ropes. I can see Wardley pressuring him and getting a little bit wide with his punches, and then Adelaide catching him with that short left hook on the inside, surprising everybody.
He's definitely trying to get in his head in advance, isn't he? I quite like that. No, not now, Bunsey. Hold that. We'll do that in just a second's time. It's Caroline Business with Frank.
Indeed. Frank Warren himself. This event has been absolutely phenomenal so far, and you were just telling me about what we can expect from the arena on Saturday night. Give me a little bit more.
They built this arena in 90 days. I think it's 24,000 people. And the show that will be on for the opening ceremony is going to be something very, very special. That in itself is going to be an event. And then when you see how the guys arrive, you're going to love it. I mean, it's I'm not going to spoil it. You watch it, you're going to love it. That'd just be worth the pay-per-view money in itself.
Well, and that's even before the fight. But let's talk about Tyson Fury. All the pressure is on his shoulders, but it doesn't seem that way. He's really enjoying himself this week. How would you describe his demeanour sort of behind the scenes?
He always does. Fight week, he comes alive. He really does come alive fight week. He loves all the hustle and bustle of it. He loves all the, you know, the show busy feel and so forth. And he's always been like that. He's probably one of the most calmest fighters. Fight week and in the dressing room that I've ever been involved with. He's got an amazing temperament.
And lastly, a quick one. What can we expect from Francis Ngannou? What danger do you believe, honestly, that he imposes?
You know more than me about MMA. I don't know anything about MMA. What do I think? If I was him, I know he's not going to be able to outbox Tyson. I know he's a big punching guy. I mean, I've looked at some of the fights that he's been involved in UFC, and the fact of the matter is, you know, it's a different discipline. We know, but it's more rough, it's more physical contact and so forth. So if I was him, I'd say you've got to get in close to Tyson. You've got to put him out of his stride. You've got to really rough him up. And the referee's going to have to be very strong in this fight. You've got to do all these things to land your bombs. And that's what he has to do. But he's in there with a guy in his last 3 or 4 fights. That's what Tyson's been doing, planting his feet and letting his bombs go. In his last fight in doing that, he was on the canvas twice. So it's going to be very exciting. I think it'll be short, very short and sweet, but I think it's going to be an exciting shootout. That's how I see it.
All right. Thank you so much, Frank. We'll let you go. Back to you guys.
Lovely, Caroline, Frank, thank you very much. Larry Holmes in attendance tonight. Not just him, the stars are absolutely out and they're standing in front of the stage. I imagine putting people off a little bit, especially that man. Mike Tyson has got a seat right in front of where the weigh is happening. So everyone that goes up on that stage can make eye contact with him. There are so many more people knocking about, and we also have the biggest one of them all, Fury and Ngannou. That one is coming up next. Stay with us. We are in the outdoor arena there. That's where the undercard is going to be taking place tomorrow night. The big indoor arena next door, the Kingdom Arena, that is going to be staging the main event and the opening ceremony. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. Hello, welcome back to the weigh-in show. There we go. Riyadh set up really nicely. It's the opening show tomorrow of Riyadh season. And this is where the fight is going to be taking place. It's Tyson Fury against that man there. That is Francis Ngannou. They're going to be stepping on the scales in just a few moments' time. And while we wait, there you go, Tyson Fury saying he feels in great shape. He looks in great shape as well. They've both been really relaxed in fight. They're having laugh, as you can see there. They're kind of, I think, just enjoying what a show this could potentially be. We also have spoken about the dangers to Tyson Fury. If he wants to get this fight on with Alexander Usyk on the 23rd of December, which is one of the dates that is being passed around, he needs to make sure he doesn't get hurt in this. Dan, I wanted to ask you and just really dig into your expertise for a second. Everyone talks about Francis Ngannou and his power, his punch power. What else comes into play in this?
Well, I mean, you know, a big part of his movement, his unpredictability is going to be a key. But something that maybe people aren't thinking about is when you put a 4-ounce glove on with skinny wraps and you punch someone in the wrong part of the head, you can break your hand, right? When I'm watching Canelo box into people's forearms and shoulders and stuff, he's doing that. You wouldn't be able to do that with MMA gloves on, right? So there's a lot more forgiveness in Ngannou being able to really put his foot on the gas with those punches. Not really worry about what he's landing on, but make sure that he's punching with his full power. And the gloves will protect his hands much better than an MMA glove would.
Would you ever go into a fight like this when you were still fighting against someone from MMA?
If they were throwing the Saudi money at me, absolutely. I'd probably fight Francis myself, if I'm being honest. But yeah.
Hasbullah's down there, actually.
Hasbullah.
No. See, there's no need for that whatsoever. There's absolutely no need for that.
There we go. Look, the stars are out as well. We mentioned it. Izzy Adesanya's here tonight having a little chat with them. They've got such a... Stop giggling, you. They've got such a load of, I suppose you call it entourage. Everyone's out, aren't they?
Everyone, I mean, this is... I'm not sure if this is the best gathering of boxing giants I've ever seen, but I can't think of a better gathering of boxing giants I've ever been at. It's staggering. It's sensational.
They're going to come out in about 30 seconds' time, guys. For Tyson Fury, concentration, just go out there and do your job. He doesn't want to get tripped up, but how much does he go? What sort of percentage does he go in?
He has to win, and I think he has to win big. He can't drag it out and be a points winner. He has to win big. He has to look good from the start. Get it done as early as possible if he can. No injuries. Look forward to Usyk.
And I interviewed him the other day after the public workout, and I saw in his eyes what I haven't seen for the last 2 fights, but I did see in the Wilder fight. He's there, trust me.
Okay, well, they're going to get up on the stage now. They're going to do the weigh-in, so let's hand you over to the man that's going to take charge of this. Of course, it is the brilliant, the one and only Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, assalamu alaikum, good evening, and welcome to a part of the official beginning of Riyadh season. As Hall of Fame promoter Mr. Frank Warren for Queensberry Promotions, along with Hall of Fame promoter Mr. Bob Arum for Top Rank Boxing, proudly presents, in association with Sella and Gimmick, the baddest man on the planet, the battle for the baddest. A WBC special event, 10 rounds of boxing in the heavyweight division, broadcast live by TNT Sports Box Office to the United Kingdom and Ireland, ESPN Plus pay-per-view in the United States, and on DAZN live around other parts of the world. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this premier event is in the all-new spectacular Kingdom Arena, Boulevard City, Riyadh, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And special thanks to the Royal Highness, the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and His Excellency Chairman, General Entertainment Authority of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Turkey Al Sheikh. So now, ladies and gentlemen, let's bring the fighters to the stage and then to the scales. Coming up first with a combat sports record of 20 fights, 17 victories, including 12 big wins by knockout, living, training, and fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, USA. Fighting for and representing his native Cameroon, he's the former UFC World Heavyweight Champion, the man known as the Predator. He is Francis Ngannou.
Take a walk with the full moon, well buttoned and zipped up. It's all kicking off soon. Better stay with a grip, bro.
37-year-old from Cameroon, based in Las Vegas these days, marching confidently here onto the stage in Riyadh.
He has a professional boxing record of 34 fights, 33 victories with 1 draw, 24 of those victories by knockout. From Malcolm, England, United Kingdom, the lineal 2-time heavyweight champion, the reigning WBC heavyweight champion of the world, the Gypsy King, Tyson Fury.
And he's going to be WBC heavyweight champion of the world, the biggest name in boxing, one of the most highest profile sportsmen on the planet, Tyson Fury, who's here in Riyadh this week to entertain everybody. Richie, this is going to be fantastic.
Absolutely huge, isn't it? Tyson Fury, very, very confident indeed. He's in against a terrific puncher, but that doesn't bother Fury. He's been in with Deontay Wilder. He's been hit on the chin with some big shots, so he's not really that bothered about it. That's what he said this week.
Ladies and gentlemen, he steps onto the scales at this time for the official weigh-in. Francis Ngannou.
So Francis Ngannou will weigh in first. Mike Tyson's up there on the stage with him. He's been training him. Let's listen to his weight.
His punching power known the world around. 272.1 pounds for the Predator, Francis Ngannou.
So 272, the maximum weight for a heavyweight in UFC is 265, so he's able to come in slightly heavier for this one tonight. We're fascinated, of course, to see just how heavy Tyson Fury is, and Fury, rather sportingly, just decided to hold his shirt for him while he flexes on the scale.
Yeah, looks in good condition. He's over 19 stone, isn't he? So, yeah, he's a big fella, and he can certainly hit. Trained by Mike Tyson, who was one of his heroes.
Ladies and gentlemen, the man known as the Gypsy King. He is Tyson Fury.
Just to let you know, Tyson Fury's thrown the shirt into the crowd, so maybe not so sporting. How heavy's Tyson Fury then?
277.74, the Gypsy King. Tyson Fury, the reigning WBC heavyweight champion of the world. Fighters, time to face off.
277 then, Rich.
Yeah, I think you got to remember he's got his tracksuit on. He weighed 268 in his last contest against Derek Chisora, so he's roughly, I would say, more or less the same. So yeah, 277 pounds officially, but probably a little bit lighter because of the tracksuit.
Here they are, face to face. The event takes place tomorrow night at the Kingdom Arena, starting the Riyadh season 2023. The battle of the baddest. Who will be the baddest man on the planet? The Predator, Francis Ngannou, the Gypsy King and reigning heavyweight champion of the world, Tyson Fury.
The mind games now from Tyson Fury. He's an expert at it. Remember, make eye contact. Tyson Fury, he knows how to get to a boxer inside and outside of the ring. He's the master.
10 rounds of boxing in a heavyweight division. Live around the world, to the UK and Ireland on TNT Sports Box Office, to the United States, live on ESPN Plus pay-per-view, and on the zone around the rest of the world.
Tomorrow, whether you see it as a fight or whether you see it as an event, the curiosity surrounding this is beyond doubt. Two very successful men in their own sports, their own codes, and they will collide tomorrow here in Riyadh, and we will find out who is going to win the battle of the baddest. Tyson Fury weighing in at 277 pounds, 5 pounds heavier than Francis Ngannou up there on the scales. Now, I've got to say, whether this is just Ngannou's way, Fury is extremely confident up there, and Ngannou looking slightly reserved, Richie.
Well, he is, but I should imagine, obviously, Mike Tyson's in his corner. They'll have a game plan, but surely it's got to be to start quick. The first 3 rounds are going to be really important for Francis Ngannou. If it goes over 3, Tyson Fury gets into a rhythm, and then it's all over for me. So he's got to do it early on Ngannou if he's going to win, but it's going to be Fury for me. I think he finishes the fight when he wants to end it.
I think the realisation might come in a minute that the shirt's gone, maybe gone forever. Tyson Fury's thrown it somewhere, so he might have to leave with a temporary shirt given to us from somebody else. Did just think for a minute Tyson was going to be nice and sporting, but off it went.
Off it went, yeah. And you're not going to argue with him, though, are you, Fletch? That's the problem. But interesting, yeah. Ngannou there didn't really want to make eye contact.
OK, let's hear from Francis Ngannou. He's going to be chatting up there with Josh Denzel.
Francis, 644 days since you last competed in combat sports, and you've climbed right to the very top of the tree fighting the lineal heavyweight champ, Tyson Fury. How does it feel?
Feels great. You know what they said? To make a big step, you have to step back. So I step back and I make a big step very high.
The highest of the high.
The highest that he has ever been made. So I'm very excited, and it's going down tomorrow night. Everything been good. Training camp, everything went well, and we are about to give the show to the people.
It is no secret that you have the hardest punch ever recorded, your overhand right. Now, Tyson Fury's been down 6 times in his career, 5 times to that overhand right. That must give you a lot of confidence.
If that overhand right touch him, he will go down, because he hasn't been knocked down by those people who are the hardest punchers on the world.
Now,
they don't have that record.
Now, you've brought in a legend, Mike Tyson. We've heard from Carlos Takam. He's given you high praise, says you've never trained this hard. Mike's also said, listen, you're flattening people in sparring. How good has the preparation been for this fight?
Well, the preparation been very good, and it was very important to have somebody like Mike next to me. It's very inspiring, you know, to see how... in fact, I was still going on YouTube and watch some of his training video, and it was tough. But we make it all the way here, right? Yeah, we was sore some few days, not every day, Mike. But
you recover quick. In the news!
At least, listen, John Fury isn't on the stage, thank God, otherwise we might have a problem. But now, Francis, how does it go down? I think people are saying that you've got to start fast, got to start early. What's the game plan?
I think we're going to take time to figure out the pace. I think we're going to take a couple minutes at the beginning, but I think this fight will end very quick.
There's some mind games. There was some tickling of the ribs and the abs. Is this just mind games? Does that get in your head at all? Because Tyson Fury is the master of that.
No. I have been in the game so long, and I have played this game so long with so many people that play mind games, and this can get to me. I think it's just a part of the game now. I consider it as a part of the game. It's not nothing personal. And then when we get in the octagon tomorrow, it's a fight time. When comes the fight time, you're going to fight. That's it.
No doubt. Francis, I'll let you go. Pleasure.
Thank you.
Enjoy. Good luck.
Okay. Let's go, guys.
Now, I think we are going to be joined by Tyson Fury, the main man. We'll be heading over this way in just a moment. Here he comes. He's on his way. Now, Tyson, join us here. The man is here, the champ. Talk to me. Mike, I think you're the first person ever to call Francis Ngannou fat and small. Talk me through that. You still believe that now you've seen him on the scales?
Yeah, I think he's a big fat sausage, and I'm knocking Spark out.
That's the game plan, right? You're not looking to make this long?
No, we don't get paid for long, we get paid for short, and I'm going to make it nice and short for him.
Francis Ngannou comes from a completely different combat discipline, MMA. We've seen those highlight reel knockouts. It's a different way. What does he bring to the table that you've been working on that could maybe potentially cause you some problems?
Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing he brings to the table. No, not the hardest ever recorded punch. He's got to land it, of course.
It's like a tennis table champion, table tennis champion, facing Djokovic in Wimbledon final. Totally different.
So there's no way. There has been a slew of MMA stars come into boxing. None of them have done as well as you'd expect. So you believe it's going to be same again. Francis Ngannou is going to go home disappointed. You're going to go on to huge fights in that heavyweight division.
Let's just say this. Boxing is a gentleman's sport. Boxing is the sweet science. It's not two men brawling in the middle of a ring. It's not the biggest and strongest will win. It's whoever's got the most boxing skill and whoever's got the ability to set out the knockout punch.
Now, we don't want to look forward too far forward.
I don't want to look forward anywhere. I'm only looking forward to tomorrow. That's it. We're not talking about any other prick in this world. We're talking about Francis Ngannou tomorrow night, and I'm going to knock a motherfucker out. And then I'm going to take a week off. I don't want to hear from any of you guys about boxing. Let me have some time with my family, and then I'll come and take on a little guy. Knock him out too.
We apologise for the language used for those viewers out there. Tyson.
Yes, I need to apologise. If there's anybody out there who don't like my language, get the fuck out that door!
I apologise again on behalf of Tyson. I think we're going to let you go, brother. Good luck. Enjoy.
You know what, I just don't know what I'd do if Tyson Fury took the microphone out of my hands and no way I could get it back at all. Poor old Josh Denzel there. Okay, so guys, with all the fighters weighed in, we can look forward to this, the Battle of the Baddest, the opening ceremony of Riyadh season. Live on TNT Sports Box Office tomorrow. Scan that QR code you can see on the right of your screen there. You can get all the information, all the T's and C's are included in there that you need to know as well. Alternatively, you can find all the details at tntsports.co.uk/box office. A reminder too that you have to be 18 or over to buy this event, which gets underway at 6 o'clock tomorrow. Okay, lots more chat from the boys and I in the studio after this very quick break about everything that we saw there in the weigh-in. We also will try and locate Francis Ngannou's shirt, and we'll try and take apart the language like a big fat sausage and see exactly what that means. Come and join us after this very quick break. Welcome back to Riyadh. We are kicking off Riyadh season. You can just see there, these are the photos from a few moments ago. This is the main weigh-in for the main event, Tyson Fury against Francis Ngannou. And if you missed it, for you in a little bit of detail on that in just a second's time. Look at this. This is exactly where these fights are going to be taking place. So on the left there, that building, that is for the main event and also the opening ceremony. And the one you can see, the open air one with all the lights, that is where we're located right now, where the undercard is going to be taking place. And then here's us lot in the studio. Guys, okay, let's reflect a little bit of what we just seen there. We said we'd try and find out where Francis Ngannou's shirt is. You've got information about that, Carl?
I think it went... It went to Ricky Hatton, then it went to Chuck Liddell. Chuck Liddell and Rampage Jackson done a little fangirl thing and done a video of it. And I think it's went back to Big Francis, so he's got it back.
I think they all tried it on and realised it was a bit too tight for him.
And had it gone to Ricky 4 or 5 years ago, it would have fit perfectly. But he's done about 5 stone. Ricky won't mind me saying that. He's happy with the way he looks now.
He looks really great, actually, I have to say. Loads and loads of celebrities, loads of people from the world of mixed martial arts and also boxing in here tonight, and even more tomorrow. We're hearing the likes of Ronaldo might be here, coming down the road and seeing a little bit of this event. There are loads more I can tell you about, but I actually can't, just in case they don't turn up, and I don't want to get you overexcited about it. It's just rumours, isn't it, for now, that I've heard. Okay, let's talk about what we saw. So we know, Dan, I want to ask you a little bit. We're talking about Francis Ngannou coming in a little bit heavy than the weight that is normally the limit in the UFC. Does that mean much here? Is it just naturally going to do that against Tyson Fury?
You know, I wonder whether, I mean, his weight's climbed up gradually through his MMA career, but I wonder whether it took a little pressure off. He can just kind of be the size that he wants to be. He can grow into the muscle mass that normally he's trying to keep down to stay below the 265 limit. He's going to be fully fueled for tomorrow, that's for sure, because there's no weight cut involved.
Still looked great, though, didn't he?
He looked in great shape, but I have a feeling he could be 25 stone and still look good. I think it might be a little bit heavy. I'd like to have seen him compete at that weight beforehand. I think it's a tricky weight increase. We'll find out by about round 3 tomorrow. The most important thing from the entire weigh-in and all of the interviews afterwards, Josh did well to get both of them, is that Tyson suddenly stopped being Tyson, who was playing the clown and playing the Gypsy King, and he became Tyson, the boxing connoisseur, for about 30 seconds. And he said, this is a game where you're not meant to get hit. It's about skill. It's a gentleman's game. And he just gave us in that little 30-second excerpt, he just told us how he's going to win tomorrow. And it's not going to be the Tyson who stands in the middle of the ring and beats his chest and howls at the crowd. It's going to be the Tyson who uses every bit of that 22-foot ring. He gave it away in that 10 seconds. He really did.
A fly like your Ponce.
I wasn't going to say anything.
Listen, flies like me. People just like me. Everyone likes me here.
Because you smell delightful.
Thank you, darling.
I watched it land on your microphone, on your nose, on your head.
And I didn't flinch, did I?
No, you didn't. You're such a professional. Okay, we're going to get to Caroline now because she's backstage with a little bit more reaction.
Frank Warren, kind enough to join us again. What do you make of what just happened on the stage just then?
Yeah, it was good. Everybody did what they had to do, weighed in. I mean, they're heavyweights, so they've not got to make the weight. You just want to come in at their best weight so that they, what they feel most comfortable with. But yeah, Tyson's in good form. The other guy fancies it as well, so we've got a fight. We've got a real fight.
We've got a real fight. And look, Francis is standing there right behind us. You can't miss him. But how do they size up? 2 huge heavyweights, champions of their respective sports.
There's a few pounds in it. Tyson's probably about 2 inches taller than him. But, look, you can see, size doesn't matter sometimes. You look at somebody like Mike Tyson, who's here with him. Mike Tyson's my height. Yep. And it's nothing to do with size. It's nothing to do with being carved out of marble. You look at some fighters, they're carved out of marble. And Tyson, he is marble. He's stronger than that. So it doesn't, as long as... With Tyson, he's one of the most unlikeliest athletes when you look at him. When he's once in the ring, he's agile, he's got great fast footwork, fast hands, fantastic reactions. Hands-eye coordination. He's a really, really top-class athlete and has tremendous stamina, staying power. I'm a fan. But, and I don't know about this guy. You know more about him than I do, so we'll see what he brings. But all we know what he brings is a big punch and lots of desire. And we'll see what he does on the night.
All right, cannot wait. Thanks again, Frank. Tyson flew off just then, so hopefully you'll get to see him, and we'll see him in the ring tomorrow. Thank you.
Lovely, thank you.
Thank you very much, Caroline. Okay, let's have a little look at the teletape and see statistically how these two line up. Carl, what can you tell me?
Yeah, it's similar sort of weight. I think that Tyson I think I like Tyson's weight. You know, it's not too, he's been a lot heavier. I think there was probably 7 pounds in his clothing as well. So he's probably come in about 270 pounds, something like that. I disagree with Steve a wee bit on Francis's weight. I think that it's probably this is just his natural weight. This is his walk around weight. He's had to do 0 weight cutting. He's not going to put much more on between now and fight night. This is just him naturally how he is. Tyson a switcher. Francis unorthodox. His stance is going to be really important in this fight. Obviously, the MMA stance is a lot different than boxing, and it's going to be interesting to see how he negates them sort of issues.
Dan, do you think sometimes as well with people's physiques and with stats that we see there, it can be a little bit misleading sometimes?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, you look at the muscle mass that Francis is carrying, he looks very impressive, but that comes with a cost, right? You've got to keep that muscle mass moving and fueled round after round. When you've got someone like Tyson Fury hanging on you and slowing you down, that muscle mass will fill up with lactic acid, it will start to burn. Where, you know, Tyson, yes, he carries a bit of excess weight around his midsection, but because that weight doesn't need fueling, that's why he's allowed to move the way that he does, like a middleweight, and he doesn't slow down.
And Tyson's not sorry, Dan. Sorry, I thought you finished there. Tyson's not going to allow himself to be manhandled comfortably. But one thing that we're maybe overlooking here, and I found it in an old something I wrote about 12 years ago. Tyson's surrounded by big guys. Gypsy John, his father, his brothers. There was a point not many years ago when Tyson wasn't the biggest Fury living on their site in Morecambe. Okay, he was just one of about 10 big lumps. You know what they used to do a lot for training? Wrestling. Just old-fashioned grappling. So don't think Tyson Fury will fall apart if Ngannou gets there and gets his elbow under his arm. Tyson's seen all that. He knows all that. The one thing that might be influenced, if we had another 20 minutes, we'd go into it, is the dirtiest fighter in the world officially, Mike Tyson. He's proud of that label. He's been training Ngannou. Now, that's a cocktail, baby. Trust me.
But Francis will want to get close, and when he does get close, if Tyson can wrestle, he can't wrestle as good as Francis, that's for sure. I think that Frank mentioned it a little bit earlier on and says the referee is going to have to be really strong. Yeah. So they will be on the referee. As soon as a clinch happens, stop, break. That's what the Team Fury will want to happen. Obviously, Francis Ngannou will want to use his wrestling experience in the clinch and try to use it to his advantage in some way.
They're both showmen, they're both entertainers, backstage, off stage, whatever we're going to call it. They're good guys, aren't they? And they're quite funny. And Dan, obviously, I know that you know Francis really well. Can they get into each other's heads at all? Can they put each other off at all? Because in that way in there, you sort of might have annoyed each other a little bit there.
Yeah, I don't think so, to be honest. I mean, I think the most uncomfortable thing for Francis there was the physical contact with the stomach of Tyson Fury. That's kind of what he looked like he was moving away from. He was a little bit kind of grossed out by it.
Oh.
The only thing, honestly... yeah, exactly. Texture. Oh, that's a word for you.
I slung it in. You can have it, Dan. It's yours tomorrow.
It's a thought, isn't it? It's hot out here as well.
The only thing that I feel like is a psychological advantage is actually Mike Tyson being in the corner. If anything's going to rattle anybody, it's Tyson Fury when he steps in and looks over.
Well, we can get more reaction from Tyson Fury because Caroline has managed to track him down and talking to him now.
I have indeed. Tyson Fury, one of the last interviews you're going to do now before you fight in that final face-off. What can you take from that, if anything?
Not a great deal, to be fair. We look at each other, look at his body. He looked at mine. He knows I'm ready to fight. I know he's ready to fight. Let's get ready for a battle.
You're looking in incredible shape. You said you're feeling and moving like a 22-year-old. We're in for something special tomorrow?
Listen, I'm going to do my best in there, and I always do, so we'll see if it's going to be good enough. I think it's good enough for a knockout, and we'll find out tomorrow night.
Yeah, you said this wasn't going to be long. This was going to be a short fight. And if you can impose your will, how soon would you like that knockout to come? Or do you want to kind of put on a bit more of a show for the fans?
We'll see tomorrow. If I can get him out of there early, I will do. He's a dangerous guy, always strong and can punch hard, so we'll see.
And we were talking about how, obviously, Mike Tyson being in his corner. Is there a little bit of a, I don't want to just beat Francis, but I was named after you, and I want to get something back on you as well?
Nothing like that, to be honest. Mike's doing his job. He's here to promote and advertise, and he's doing a fantastic job, and me and Mike are still cool, always will be. I'm named after the guy. I'm just going to kick his man's ass tomorrow. That's it.
So when all's said and done, there's good feelings between the two of you, and would you like him in your camp, in your corner at some point, Mike Tyson?
Never say never. You never know what's around the corner.
Well, look, talk to us lastly about what we can look forward to tomorrow night. For the fans tuning in worldwide, why should they tune in, Tyson?
Fireworks right here in Riyadh, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, is going off big time. The biggest crossover event the world will ever see against two of the most gigantic athletes on the planet going to battle.
Cannot wait. Go well. Thank you.
All the best, guys. Thank you.
Back to you.
Excellent. The good news, Francis Ngannou, as Carl did say, he's got his shirt back. Look at that. Thrown into the crowd by Tyson Fury. He was wandering around without it for a little while, which nobody seemed to mind. The good news is they've been reunited, and I imagine tonight, what does a fighter do? You guys tell me. What does a fighter like Francis Ngannou do now on the eve of a big fight like this?
I mean, I would be trying to relax as much as I can. Yeah. You know, it's so difficult to distract yourself from the fight because your whole world is about it. But just try and find a way to relax. For me, it was about watching a movie and just kind of relaxing in my hotel room in the quiet and putting all the noise to bed so I can focus on the job tomorrow.
Carl, get inside the head of these fighters for me as well, because ultimately we call it entertainment, and crossover fights do so much for that kind of sphere. But they're both winners and they're both brutal in their own sports. And you put them in a ring together, it doesn't matter if it's a crossover, there's going to be a lot of pride at play.
Of course, look, both these guys will do their absolute best to win the fight, and both are expecting to win by knockout. It's interesting that there's so many different faces of Tyson Fury, and we've seen a calm, relaxed one there. That's the one I prefer, if I'm being honest.
Me.
And I like when he talks like that and he gets serious and he knows he's got a job to do. Francis, talking about what he does kind of from now until the fight, what I used to like to do was watch footage of fighters that I would like to fight and try and replicate. So if I was going to fight in a Roberto Duran style fight, I would watch Roberto Duran rather than watch the opponent. If I was going to try and move a lot, I would watch Sugar Ray Leonard. That's what I would do. So maybe Francis can take a little bit of leaf out of that and have a look at them guys.
Okay, guys, well, it sets it up rather nicely for tomorrow, doesn't it? We'll all be back. You're a roving reporter tomorrow, aren't you, Bunsey?
I'm more than roving reporter.
Huh?
I'll do 10,000 steps tomorrow, sister, trust me.
I'll be checking up on you after
that,
to be honest. Dan, you'll be alongside us as well. Can't wait for that. And, of course, you and me will be here too, Carl. A reminder as well, now that all that's done, the weigh-in's done, Tyson Fury against Francis Ngannou, it's kicking off Riyadh season here in Saudi Arabia. The entire event is live on TNT Sports box office tomorrow evening. If you scan that QR code that you can see at the right-hand side of your screen there, you can find all the information how to get it, including all the T's and C's. So Battle of the Baddest, it begins at 6 p.m. You can also find the details of how to buy it at tntsports.co.uk/box office. And a reminder as well, the final reminder, you have to be 18 plus to buy this event. Okay, that is it from us. We're going to try and find ourselves an invite to this party. We will see you fresh and ready tomorrow. Take care.